This week on RSBANDB Update, the first Necromancer's gear is dyeable, but that's not all we're dying for. We recap our double XP antics and the push for 120s. Should there be more actual 120s in-game? Then we discuss bad luck mitigation and quest requirements flowchart style. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 974, recorded Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. Dying for 120s. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another episode of RSBANDB Update. Tanis, you're here as you are each and every week. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Shane.
We don't have an update to discuss, but we do have things to discuss this week, don't we?
You know, we've got something new, something old, something special.
Isn't that the thing you're supposed to do before weddings?
Yeah, that's why I was trying to remember what that stuff was, but dude, it's
something
been too long ago.
You got something blue? I'm a true blue Aussie.
Okay,
there we go.
Pernasius, of course, is here as well. And we are going to do a bit of a different format for the podcast this week. We're going to effectively start with what have we been doing, make the show about that, then use that to dive into some of the updates this week. But before we get too far down the track, big, huge thank you goes out to our experienced tier Patreon members, for which, if we did not have them, RSBANDB Update would not be possible. So this week, I'd like to thank Amos Reed, Andrew C., Drama Free, Jason S., Jesse W., Kesky, Ricky A., Rippeth, Runestar, and The Naked Captain. You'll hear more about the rest of our Patreon offerings a little bit later in the podcast, but in the meantime, if you want to follow along, full show notes can be found at update.show. You can also join our community Discord over at update.show/Discord, and the friends chat is at BitsBytes. So we're going to just start real simple here and get down to basics and talk about, of course, what's happening in RuneScape. And, lo and behold, that is, of course, double XP week. And we kind of just, randomly drew this up about where we were going to start. So, Tanis, you're up first. What's your double XP been like this week?
Well, it has been a reminder that you can always screw up. You've never played so long that you can't be stupid and do stupid things, and that's what happened to me. I had been prepping to do some fletching.
Yeah, we heard about that.
A few weeks
for a few
prior,
weeks.
I was, doing collecting sharp shards and fungal shafts and getting my poop in a group, so to say, and had all of that, had my materials ready to go, and then started fletching when double XP started, and I was like, what's going on here? And this is the first double XP since metric started that I just didn't get metric this time. Like, it just happened to not have it. So I'm not really paying attention to the XP per hour like I normally would.
Yeah.
And so I'm just playing, and I'm doing it because Shane forced me at knife point to finish the 4 and 3 quest. I do have my fully upgraded, fletching place, and so I was doing it there, and I'm like, this seems like it's really shitty XP. What's going on? How can I be doing the highest tier arrow and have it be this shitty XP? And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh crap. I didn't do the equivalent of making headless arrows.
So what were you doing?
No.
Well, because your XP mostly comes from tipping the arrows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, my dumbass didn't put the propellant on the fungal shafts beforehand.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you were
that's
getting
why
like
I'm
15 per. Oh no.
Yeah, for like the first couple hours of double XP, I'm like, oh no.
So you had to, in effect, feather the arrows and then tip them.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay. See, that's interesting because I have always just done fletching in a circular process. I've never, made all of the base of the arrows before and then tip them after the fact for the XP. I have cut, one collection of arrow shafts, and then I put feathers on them, and then I put the arrow tips on them. And that's, typically how I have done fletching. And I guess that's because I haven't done fletching at, such a I'm going to call it an industry-wide level like that something like that is never messed up.
Dude, that's the other thing. Like, the difference, I mean, we all know, like, the 120 grind is just it's different, right? And I know people think it's fast. It's not hard anymore.
No,
it still is.
It's
me,
annoying for
right?
skills that don't have real 120s because they're not, they weren't designed with that in mind.
Right, and I know fletching can be a fast one, but I am shocked at the sheer amount of materials that I gathered, and
then you didn't get much
how
XP
little
for it.
Yeah, how little it is turning out to be. I'm just like, wow. I mean, I would make more ammunition than I could ever use for me and like a whole Iron Man crew of badass Rangers. Like, you still couldn't use the amount of arrows that I'm making.
Right, and I mean, like, at least they're sellable, right?
I hope so. Yeah, I imagine they will be.
Yeah, and then you go in and you could even add anima to them for a little bit on top. Maybe that might be a way to kind of recoup some of the money, because I know last time I looked, the anima for the arrows was actually really low. And it's actually interesting. I just pulled this up right now. Making full arrows from dyne arrows is, according to the most recent price data on the wiki, a profit of 2.3 GP per XP.
Huh. Well,
so it's profitable to buy the full anima and add it to dyne arrows. So don't give up just yet.
All right. Well,
you're actually maybe inspiring me, because what I'm doing, and I'll talk more about this in a bit, but I'm going in the same order. So I've actually been doing some of that too. So has it just been fletching for you, or?
It's been fletching. So I have my daily set up for wood cutting. So I'll still do a couple rounds of elder, a couple elder rounds and stuff.
Right.
So I'm always running. I mean, yes, it is pretty much the fletching, but I'm still running those wood cutting circuits, and then checking and topping off my machines, because one of these double XPs is going to be a construction bonanza. But I used to think, like, I'm like, it was like, I think it was last double XP. I'm like, I got 3K elder frames.
That's not going to be much at all.
Dude, I know, and that's what I figured out. I was like, oh shit. This isn't going to be that much at all.
You need to employ the army in like the months leading up to double XP if you're going to do that.
The problem is there's no sand casino anymore. So there's no help for there's no benevolent, generous benefactors out there.
I just want to clarify for listeners and anybody listening that Tanis was not the one doing the gambling. He was the benefit of people who did go do the gambling, and he
was the guy standing outside with his hat, and they'd come out and go, "Oh yeah, I had a big win. There's 100 mil for you."
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
RuneScape is not a gambling
I'm not complaining,
game.
Man. That how many that it paid for Premiere at least a couple years in a row, and I was a friend of someone that was paying for their own Premiere with the Sand Casino. I mean,
I can't believe the price of bonds at the moment.
Yeah, I'm aware of the price of bonds too. We'll talk about that after we had just completed the Patreon survey, but update on that, or not Patreon survey, the general survey. after that. And, this all points out a very good thing, because you're definitely not getting 99s, 99 woodcutting, 99 fletching Tannis. You're going for the 120.
Yeah, it's a whole different, and I do kind of miss that 99 benchmark. That's one of the things that I enjoy about those time limited events.
Yeah. You got the progress built into it.
Yeah, I mean, the fresh start leagues, even the I can't remember if Damnation Damned you had all of your stats, that's right. But regardless, those are really fun, and it's not so like insurmountable. This still feels like I would have to go really hard.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get the numbers that I.
So 13 mil is of course 99. You add another 13 mil on top of that. That brings you to about 106, 107 ish, 106, and then you add another 13 mil on top of that, 39 million XP. You'd be level 110. Add another 13 million on top of that to 51, and then you're all the way. You're up to 112 at that point. And what I'm doing is I'm illustrating how slow the 120s are if you're doing it in a skill that is not designed to go to 120, as in it's not Slayer, Farming, Herblore, Archaeology, Divination, or Invention.
Well, and even anything other than Invention still has.
Did I say Divination? Curve. Divination doesn't go to 120. Where am I on that?
Yeah. You meant Invention. I think you just threw that in as well.
But the thing is like I'm still enjoying doing my double XP, even though it's a paltry small amount in comparison to what I used to do.
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying myself. Like, I'm sure we're going to hear here in a minute, like, Pronasius is probably, who knows, probably quadrupled my XP amount. But I think that's kind of what I was talking about in the beginning, right? Like, double XP now is just kind of enjoyable. Chill, and you can make it as intense or as chill as you want.
And that's the kind of thing I wanted to hone in on a bit with this, is that I was looking at some things going back, and I remember our discussion about when the 120 max capes came out, right? And I think at that point it became clear that that's what the push was for everybody who had 99s already, was go for 120s, of course, if you're already maxed. And I feel like people were already doing that, and I feel like the cape just added on a little cherry on top to encourage people to do that. So I guess the question that comes from that then is, like, how enjoyable is it to be going for a 120 that's not a real 120, given the way the XP rates are and the way that, dare I say it, fletching is, which is, kind of a useless skill unless you're an Iron Man.
I mean, it's not, I don't think if it's not enjoyable, I don't think it's because it's legit versus cosmetic. Like, because to me, it's all about the numbers at the end of the day, and that doesn't really change. I mean, the only skill that ever changed was Invention, and I didn't care for that at all. So at the end of the day, it's just it's the number in the way that you're able to train it, right?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
But what's crazy though is I can remember back before we had the 10 days, and when we used to have the straight double XP weekend. I remember clan XP competitions where people would get, they would get insane amount. They would get like over 200 million XP. I got over 100 million one double XP weekend, like just just crazy.
Yeah.
And now I'm pulling like this whole time, if I pull 20, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I'll be
So
happy.
what is the difference then?
I think the difference was, well, one, there was a social and a competition that was pushing, you were pushing each other,
Right.
whereas now I'm getting this, now I have the same satisfaction just chilling and playing.
Yeah, and you think that's because of just, how 120 has become normalized and it's with the old skills or something else?
Yeah. I think, well, no, I think it's just everyone's so used to the grind that, um, I don't know. I don't hear the same. Maybe it's because of people, you only get to do this stuff once in this game, right?
Yep.
And I know a lot of people that are, all the skills that you can put up these kinds of numbers, they're maxed out in, right? So they're done with those. Um, and then and you're not going to have a competition where one person can run in there with some summoning and an herb lore, the other person's over there stuck with divination, like this sucks. Like you just can't do that. So I think one of it was kind of just a dwindling down of being able to compete and have fun with your friends in that way, as where and kind of transitioning now to this more, for me, it's going to be different for everyone, but for me, it's more relaxed, more chill. I have the whole
And
week. My
exactly, I was going to
goal,
say,
yeah, my goal
I
is to
think the
use
biggest
my
change.
time.
That's right. The biggest change I think was going from your 3 days to your 10 days, because before it was like, okay, family, I've got DXP coming up, so from
Yep, yep.
this weekend I'm going to be unavailable. So go and do what you like, because I'm locked away for the whole weekend, and that's it. And and there was people
Fuck off.
everywhere, and we used to we used to just sit on Skype and just talk for the entire,
Yeah.
basically weekend, and have, have those long shows and such. Whereas now, yeah, okay, yeah, no, I'm feeling a bit bored. I can just log out now. I can go and take the dogs for a walk or whatever, because the timer pauses. I can go and take a break. There's not that frenetic energy behind having to use as much of your 48 hours as possible over a whole weekend. You know, I've been taking a lot of breaks, and I've got 2.5 hours left.
Nice. What have you been
I
using
mean,
for it or doing with it?
Well, I mean, I started like tennis. I started with fletching. I actually did make all my I made all the shafts properly beforehand. So I was getting all that max XP. I was basically the same as him. I did a whole lot of dino arrows. I made 270,000 dino arrows. Uh, I had enough for about 220, but because of using the Fort for Rent 3 area, it sort of gives you extras. Yeah, every few bundles and such. I also had a ton of the Death Spore and Splintering arrows from when I was doing my mining and woodcutting. So I had I obviously made a whole lot of the Elder Headless arrows before
oh,
that. So
I forgot about those.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I got a ton of those from when I was doing. I'm trying to get all my. Obviously, I've got 120 in all, so I'm getting all my skills to 190 mil, and then I'm going to play like that last 10 mil of each skill is going to be like going back
Yeah,
and
because
doing
that's
an
close
actual
enough to like an
99.
actual 99 then.
99,
That's actually
exactly.
a
So
good way of doing it.
yeah. So that's the way I'm sort of doing all
Well,
my
it's fun.
skilling. So yeah, I've already got the woodcutting, mining, smithing, Dungeoneer. I got a whole bunch at 190 already, so that was my aim, was to get at least 2 extra 190s, which I did. I did 30, a little over 30 mil fletching. Got that to 190. Once I hit the 190, I moved on to cooking. because I'd done all my arrowheads and such, I was been fishing the week before, just doing my sailfish. That mixed with some proteins that I had, got 35 mil cooking XP, so got that to 190, and I'm now working on crafting. Now, crafting I am doing the boring way. I had about 13k in protein hide, so I've done about, well, actually I've just clicked over 16 mil on that.
Yeah, because
So,
what's the other what's the other option for that? Dragonstone cutting?
Yeah, I mean, you got to spend money. I generally do things that I'm either going to use or sell. So my normal crafting, it's slow, but I generally do urns.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that I guess
Yeah,
that makes sense. Everybody needs those. Slow, probably
yeah.
not
I
as
was
slow as
just
gold bracelets though, and gold jewelry like some people did in the past.
gold jewelry's
God.
terrible.
Oh
But
God.
urns,
Getting
urns you
the
can
right
make money
game,
on.
Shane. Wrong game. Wrong game.
But yeah, urns are fun. I mean, I use a lot of infernal urns because, you know, when you're out slaying and all that, it's easy. They just, you know, get you the that passive prayer XP and such. But that's basically been everything I've been doing this week. Also, trying to do daily strike worm. I've missed one day.
That's so much
Because
better now
obviously
compared to how it used to be, eh?
it's quicker. I wish they, I wish they did it like KBD, where they have that in, you know, in your wilderness events, but it's also popped up as it was. I mean, going down there and getting 5 Fury Shark for each kill is,
The
not real
consolation
fun.
prize.
Yes. So, you get your worm heart, or whatever they call it, thing, and you open it up and it's 5 Fury Shark. Yeah, wonderful. That's great. I'm glad I left my fletching for that, but
I was thinking about this after they added it and after we talked about that. I think one of the things that we need to be careful of going into the future on that whole idea about the flash events is that need to make sure that they don't add too many of those, because if you start adding too many of them, the cycle is just going to be, far too long that you're gonna have multiple days where you don't see some of them.
exactly.
So
As I said, I mean, I would really love it if. I mean, I do love the event. It's fun out there. Bang! There's a whole lot of people. You've got to flick on your anticipate so he doesn't drag you in and things like that. But he's killed in like 30 seconds. I did like having to go out there and fight him and dodge, and it sort of taught me a bit of prayer flicking between sort of range and mage and things like that when he's attacking.
do you have a mouse with extra side buttons?
No, God, I'm 53 years old. I have enough trouble with 3 buttons.
I mean, you never know. I mean, you could, I'm not talking about, you don't need 12 buttons. You could get one with 6.
Yeah, I know. No, I probably could, but I'm just used to. I just have it on the X and Z keys and just flick between them that way.
Yeah, fair enough. So, in terms of the things you're pushing to, 90, rather, no, sorry, not 99, 190. Which of those do you think feels the most rough to do post 120?
Well, I did cheat with Dungeoneering when they forced me to take lamps. All my lamps were going on to Dungeoneering.
That's actually a good idea. Now that you mention it.
So sort of pretty much 150 to 190 Dungeoneering was just lamped. I think rune crafting is probably. It's the hardest one because, I mean, I can go and sit in rune span, but I don't get anything out of rune span.
No, please don't.
So, no, that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't like things I don't get anything out of. It's like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of proteins because I don't get anything out of them. The only reason I'm using them is because, hey, they're there. I might as well just get rid of them on DXP. But usually, as I said, I look for, it might be slow, but it's money-making methods. For me, it's not so much the destination as the trip there. So, like with all my arrows, like I went and cut all my own elder elder logs to fletch the arrow shafts, and people are calling me an idiot. You should just sell them and buy them and things. It's like, but that's not. I want to play the game. I don't want to just spend money into it.
You're like one step away from Iron Man on that.
I pretty much play an Iron Man style of game because that's what's enjoyable to me. I don't want to rush it, and at the end, I sell all the stuff, and I'll have some GP there to do things that I want. When I care, I gave a clan member a bond a few weeks ago. Donated one for the thing last week. I like to do things like that. So if I've got that money that's just sitting there that I can help out someone, I love to do that type of thing. I don't help out anyone who begs or asks. But if someone's just saying, "Oh, what's the best way to do this?" Then I'll just go and throw you something. But someone comes in and says, "Oh, yeah, can anyone give me a bond or can anyone give me some money for this?" And I ignore those ones. But it's, as you said, it's the journey. It's that Iron Man style of feel that I really enjoy in the game.
And see, that's the thing I'm wondering. We talked about the 120 push with Tannis, and I think the thing that's coming out with this too, and we probably should have honed in on this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the roadmap or lack thereof, is that this double XP that's happening right now and the amount of people engaging in it, just from these stories here and the amount of people we see online, I think tells us that story of the people who are still, working through grinds and whatnot in game is the core of what's in effect carrying RS forward outside of, the tentpole content that everybody's craving.
And I know it's a dirty word, but that's why I like the prestige system, because there's skill. I've got 200 mil in Slayer, which is my favourite skill. I've got 200 mil in Archaeology, which overtook Slayer as my favourite skill.
Yeah, and
I would
see,
love to prestige and go back and just.
I get it, and I think it would be a wonderful thing to have in game. I just don't know if it can be classed as an end game, because imagine a world where you prestige a skill, you get a little notch on your skill cape or whatever, but imagine this being as another, complete new form of monetization for Jagex in the sense of cosmetic, in that if somebody has, prestiged farming 10 plus times, it unlocks their ability to purchase something for, $5 to $10 in the store. That is a vanity cosmetic. That furthers people's goals, and it creates another sense of cosmetic monetization, which people have always wanted.
Yep.
But what if, instead of the monetization like that, what if that vanity cosmetic actually was something that came from limited time events?
Oh God, here we go. Alternate.
Do this skill again.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of understand that, but the problem with limited time events...
No, he's talking about bringing the inverted skill capes back, because we both have unfinished business in the ones we want to get.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually go... I went over there, I got the Halo, that's the thing I was chasing. I wasn't really worried about the capes at the time, but I understand what you mean there. But the problem with sometimes with those limited events... I had a friend who spent basically 6 weeks in hospital during that time with no internet access and such. So,
that sucks.
You sort of you do on limited events. There are people who are just not going to be able to because of work commitments, travel, hospital stays, that type of thing. Whereas a prestige system, you can do it at any time. And I do like Shane's idea of at 5 I can buy this. At I can get a silver cape or silver trim. At 10 I can get a gold trim.
And they've shown with dyes and the alternate skill capes that creating alternate colors and adornments on skill capes is actually something that's kind of easy to do. So
it is, but if they do something, if you ever did something like that, it couldn't be monetized. It has to be part of that RuneScape all the way back to its roots, that this looks like impossible. and I mean it is peacocking, and as it should be.
Right.
I mean,
the
for
Challenger
myself,
Halo,
I don't mind.
the Challenger Halo from top 100s and Fresh Start is still 675 mil.
Is that all?
But you can't even use it, can you?
Yeah, you can. You can wear it. I got it as an override that I bring out from time to time.
Huh, okay.
What's my one? I got.
You got the purple one from doing the
I did,
achievements, I
yeah.
think. Whereas I got the top 100 one from farming.
See, my one is worth 205 mil.
Yeah.
The Halo Hunt.
And, you know, maybe this is the key, and maybe this is just what they need to do. I don't think it's good game design. I used to think it was, but I don't think it's good game design. But maybe they just need to do something like this to let people, you know, continue to play the game of RuneScape as it is that they like, and then we're not on the hook, you know, for, you know, needing to have a headline piece of content every month.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing is, I mean, yes, people say, well, just make another account. I can do that, but I'm so invested in the Panasius character. You know, I just want to keep playing that. Yeah, I've got Iron Ass and I've got a few other alts, but I mean, they're secondary. You know, that Panasius character is my in-game persona, and you know that's the one I like to play.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, and you know, I even found that with the skill peer, too, and I guess that's where I'll start on mine. Is that the first thing I did when Double XP started? Is I jumped on the skill peer, and what I did is there's this website called Wheel Decide. It gives you a wheel that you can spin. And what I did is I put all the skills in there except for the combat skills and archaeology and dungeoneering, because I wasn't going to be caught doing dungeoneering and I want to do archaeology off Double XP. And I put the gathering skills in twice just to, you know, give it a gathering lean. And I, you know, hit the wheel button, spun the wheel. And, you know, the first thing that came up was rune crafting. So I did, you know, 4 or 5 hours of rune crafting in the rune span and got to 77 rune crafting on the skill pair. And that's how, you know, I spent the initial bulk of my start of the Double XP. And the reason I did that is because of, you know, the hooks that they have in game that, you know, you can't be logged into RS3 and OS at the same time. If they could, that would entirely, you know, change the equation of how I played if you could be on both.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely.
And, you know, in hindsight, maybe I should have, you know, used the skill peer account for old school, that name, and that I could have, you know, the RS3 run running at the same time. But I felt like at the time, the bulk of the goals were done on RS3, so it made sense to, you know, kind of do that. And I do want to, you know, at some point, get a bunch of skill capes on the skill peers, just being, you know, hey, this is a level 3 that did this. I know I'm tying myself behind the back, and that I'll never, you know, have Prif, and I'll never have crystal tools because you need Prif for that. But it's kind of like Iron Man is, right? It's a self-restricted game mode there. So that was last weekend on the Double XP. Yeah, and you know, that's another thing that's kind of evolved in my sense too of what I did on the skill peer to start out with, is that I'd have Iron Man it. But, you know, after Leagues, I have discovered that, yes, I can play an Iron Man character, but I don't exactly want to play an Iron Man, so I use the exchange for anything that's possible there right now. So, I don't know, and I had some good fun with it, and that's why I said, oh no, when you said RuneSpan, because it's like, this is going to, and this is the thing that really turns me off skill peer, is that there's such a wall, you know, to getting soul runes on that character. I'm never going to have that. I'm never going to have blood runes. I'm never going to have death runes either on there. So I'm stuck with RuneSpan, unless, you know, the quest requirements have changed for Fight Club, and that I can, you know, dart things or, you know, not get the lamps on there. But somehow that would that's right. That's what it was. Tell me how I'm going to do Desert Treasure on a skill peer. That's going to require some creative thinking. So, but in any case, like the point is that you make the game yours and you play it the way you want to play it, and that's what you come away with at the end of the day. So, that's kind of where I landed on the skill peer. And I guess just for dramatic effect right now, I'll spin the wheel for this weekend's account live on the recording here of what we're gonna get for the next skill on the skill pair. Wonderful website, by the way. We'll decide. Oh, I got rune crafting again. I'm just
double spin.
Yeah, I'm gonna spin again because I just did that.
You can't do 2 in a row. Yeah.
No.
Spin to win, Shane. Spin to win.
The old skill of the month we used to have on the show.
Yeah, that's right. So next up will be mining, and that's good because my gathering skills are low. So there's that.
I don't know if I mentioned it on the show last time when I was doing. So I was prepping some of my OSRS on INR. So I sort of play. I want to get back into OSRS a bit. I forgot how bad mining was.
Yeah, that'll remind you real quick, won't it?
It does. Well, I'm sitting there going, my God.
To be fair, you have the blast mining. You have, I forget the exact name of it, but it's a mine just off the mining guild. That's a bit more.
But you don't
AFK
get anything.
Related. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You put the rocks to the cart and you get ore relevant to your level.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, no, because I was I'm gathering iron ore and coal at the moment, and it's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's rough. And all the banking, right? That's
what I mean. Yeah, the banking part.
The
mining I don't mind so much. It's the running back to the bank every 28 years.
Yeah. But aside from that, folks might have noticed that when I was online, I did get 120 Necromancy.
Congrats.
And just to point things out from our discussion last week on the podcast, on that run to 120, I did get another Moonstone.
Very nice. Okay. But have you got the thing you most desire?
What's that?
Finishing the log. You still have one piece.
Yeah, I want to talk about.
You're talking to thieves and I.
I want to talk about the rituals first.
The shoehorn has well and truly fallen out.
I'll talk about that in a minute. I want to talk about the rituals first because it is truly something else. After using that necklace we talked about on the show last week, doing rituals with 820% spirit attraction.
Oh wow!
Damn.
Yeah. So, if people haven't, go do Housing of Parliament, get your free Moonstone, and if you have Necromancy still to do, definitely, I'd say make it into the necklace. That gives you, extra to whatever your alteration glyphs are doing at the ritual site. And, of course, the good thing with that as well, that we talked about last week, is it also boosts multiply. So if you're in the process of making ensouled or greater ensouled items, yeah, you definitely want that for that. But, and I guess this is kind of a bit opposite to where you were, Tannis. I actually like doing the rituals.
Yeah.
You can see the D&Ds.
That probably makes a difference. I'm guessing. I don't know. I've still never seen the D&D. I know they're there, and I know they improved them. Like I do.
Yeah, but
it's a field of view issue.
That's slightly concerning. Very slightly concerning about that. And I wonder if they were just, when they did that, if they were just testing at, like base game zoom level and not screen magnifier.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not like it would have been all that common or something like that. But,
yeah. And see, the thing is, and I don't know if this is because it's still fresh and it's kind of like, it's still got that, new skill smell, I guess you could say, to it. I guess you could put it in that.
Are you sure it's not? It smells like something dead to me. I mean,
no, not at all.
It's necromancy. It's dead. It's supposed to smells like death.
Don't think up the place.
Yeah. What the hell?
What did Brian Brown say in Cocktail? Bury the dead. They stink up the place.
Well, that's certainly not the case for And it just
I
goes
love
to
ARM.
yeah, and this just is a piggyback off what we talked about last week. Is there's just still so much promise there in terms of what needs to be expanded out that I would happily go back and do more rituals and do more at different ritual sites with different vessels and whatnot. So it'd be
I'm
interesting.
hoping they add a few
what
more.
they add in for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping they add a few more abilities,
Like for a skill training method or something like that. More
Yeah,
incantations
yeah.
maybe or something. to that effect.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah,
uh,
you said you mentioned the other shoe has not dropped yet.
the horseshoe has well and truly fallen out.
It has. Because my last Raziel piece from the and I know RNG doesn't work this way. I know it's not guaranteed. My last drop there, the last, key drop was around, 510-ish kills, give or take. And I'm upwards of 770 right now. And, factoring the fact that, there's 5, items or so, more or so that should drop on that. You should be, about a 1 in 100 or 1 in 110 off that. So we're kind of off past where I should be on that. And, I'm starting to understand why people want bad luck mitigation on bosses and why they get upset about this. Because I don't know when this was, and maybe one of you guys can point this out. But if you remember at some point on the podcast in the past, I said my goal for RS3 PVM is to finish the Raziel drop log. And,
and we're holding
check out Vorkath. And here I am. 770 kills in. Gonna push 800 later tonight after the podcast probably. We're still working on that. And the most annoying part is that I have gotten 2 duplicates on that, so there's always a part of my mind that says, oh yeah, those 2 duplicates could have been the pieces that I had, to complete the log otherwise.
See, that's the other reason why I don't like PVM, because even if I was good at it, the bosses that I can kill now, even the shitty worthless
take a
drops,
Vindicta or a Greridor, right?
I never get them ever. I have good luck mitigation.
You want to hear
it feels like a wasted time. Like, I don't know.
You want to hear bad luck mitigation? Is I got that Grador. I got the pet very early, in like 100 kills. I had basically gotten everything except the shield. Okay. A shield. I had everything by 220 kills. It took me another 340 kills to get a shield. And the worst thing, the thing that was worth at the time 67,000k. It took me 300, and I mean, I tripled and quadrupled everything else. That bloody shield.
And this is the problem with PVM and RuneScape, in addition to it not being immediately readable, and there being, things that you kind of have to pick up along the way, like the Carapax stand under trick. So I'm wondering, has the case never been made for bad luck mitigation to make the drop logs integral to a point in the War's Retreat / combat achievements kind of venture that they're as integral as the archaeology collection logs? Now, obviously, we're talking about 2 different levels of, RNG here, because you will over time, and it's a lot quicker to excavate something than it is to get something as a PVM drop. But what I'm wondering is, why has the case not been made to make PVM drop logs a more integral part of the game, either through some form of achievement or through, some way to display that prowess at War's Retreat, and then with that, you have the inertia behind it that allows, that makes it so that people are going to want to do this content. And then, you get more and more people yelling about this, that there needs to be some form of, bad luck mitigation or a guaranteed, thresholding system in exchange for a reduction in commons. And,
But what about...
dare I say it, let's poll this. Would you take bad luck mitigation in exchange for a reduction in commons at bosses? Yes. Poll that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Commons don't really do me.
I would like to see more like they do, with the War Priest armor, where, okay, you've got the boots, they're taken off the table.
Yes,
if you own a piece,
I wanted to say. Yes,
that would be a much better way. So you're not going to end up with 27 sets of boots while you're chasing one set of gloves.
Yeah, and that would be
okay.
Like that would be the first step to meeting somewhere in the middle on that. Is that everything I have or you have is off the table.
That's right. Like so
that your uniques are guaranteed, and then after you have all the uniques, you can go back to getting whatever random piece the game wants to give you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't truly appreciate this until I went for my first drop log, and I think that's a good perspective to have because this is the first drop log I'm actively hunting.
Huh. Yeah, I've been doing...
Well, it's a win-win-win. People love logs. People love PvM.
And they love showing off.
Yeah. I mean, it's a win-win-win.
Imagine building little statues down in your in War's Retreat.
Yeah, that's what that entire little area off to the side was supposed to be, opposite of the dummies, was supposed to be something like that was never, filled in. And you just make it like your own showcase area that you can invite people into, and it uses like an instance kind of material for it. But,
like your play your own home type thing.
Yeah. But of course, modern tech on it. So that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That'd be great to see something like that.
I'm also...
And that would force me into PVM a bit. I mean, I did say this year was going to be sort of more my PVM year, but I'm on that 200 mil all grind at the moment.
Yeah, well, we might have actually something for you on that, based on where we go next here. And I am considering some soul dies too, but I'm going to thank some Patreon supporters. This week I'd like to thank Alvaro L., Amos Reed, Andrew C., Arvids L., Chubura, Daniel W., Dominic R., Drama Free, Duramax, Free Milk, Gila Fleur, Jacob G., Jade Gizmo, Jeebus, Jesse W., Keski, Lemon Lodge, Ling01, Luminos, Nate the Great, Pernasius, Ren Honk, Ricky A., Rippeth, Runestar, Samuel FL, Scott DS, Shirt Pants, Targayen, The Naked Captain, The Davin Goat, Tim, Tom V, Ukulele Steve, and Zant. And of course, you can learn more about our Patreon offerings at patreon.com/RSBANDB. And right now we're polling for the next monthly bit. That'll run until Monday. The choices are the quest tier list or the introduction to PVM, which is the topic that you're going to be a guinea pig for, Pernasius.
Okay.
I feel like we already discussed this on here, so I'm sorry if that's springing it on you.
No, that's okay.
No,
I think we did mention it last time, and I said you said you needed a volunteer, or a guinea pig, and I said, well, throw me under the bus.
Yeah, and basically the choices are to do that. Take someone through first principles, basic PVM to mid-level PVM with your preferred combat style of choice, and we'll do that on the air and check in a few months after on that. And the other choice is a quest tier list. Either the most we haven't decided what it's going to be yet. Probably the most consequential quest in RuneScape ranked, and then we could do a part 2 or even a part 3 of this tier list where we look at random quests, or we look at older quests in particular. So if you want another tier list, there's an option there for that. Or if you want to hear more about the introduction to PVM, that's all there. And anybody who is a Patreon member can vote in that, including people who have signed up for our basic plan for $1 a month. In addition to getting the right to vote in that poll, you also get a mention on the podcast. That's in the show notes. You also get access to an entire back catalog of these bonus shows, and of course the ability to vote on the monthly bit topics, and attend the roundtable too, which is this weekend. For $3 a month, you get a special rank on Discord. You get access to a chat channel with that, and you gain access to high-quality stereo versions of the show. You get a shout-out at the start of the month on the podcast. And if you want to give the ultimate gift, we do have the Insider tier for $5 a month, where you receive a shout-out on the podcast each and every week and gain exclusive access to the outtakes that we use to make the clip show at the end of the year. And, of course, as I mentioned at the podcast, big, huge thank you to all the experienced tier members everywhere. Everyone, or every slot in that bracket is currently full. So patreon.com/RSBANB. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanking you.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I'm sitting at. Are we going to the same place about dyes?
No, I was just going to say, if we do get that get the introduction to PVM in, if people do want that and if they're interested, drop Shane or myself a little note in game if they want me to make short videos a couple of times a week where I've gone just show a little bit of what I'm doing and how I'm progressing if they want that.
Yeah, and then that's also a nice way to tie it back to that monthly bit too, to see where that goes. But let's just wait and see if this passes. Right now it's winning. We'll see what happens throughout the course of the weekend. It's still kind of close, so I don't want to put the cart put the cart before the horse on that yet, before pronouncing which one is done. But I did also say that there was one thing that looked really good this week, and I was thinking, if I get any more money from any of my drops, I know what I'm buying, and I'm buying soul dyes. Because the Necromancy gear this week is now dyeable with all the different dyes. So they got pictures of Ice, Aurora, Soul, Shadow, Barrows, Blood, and all this Tier 95 Necromancy gear looks so damn good with the dyes. Like this black and white one. I think this is probably the Shadow dye. Oh my God. They have pictures of all these in the news posts, and I'm trying to click through some of them, but they don't, the rest of them don't appear to be loading here. But have you guys ever considered going for a dye?
I don't like dyes, personally.
I mean, I don't do clues, so no.
No, I mean like doing enough PVM to have the money to just buy it outright.
Oh.
Because that's kind of the way I would be going for mine. And then
Whenever I get the dye.
And then I thought, if this Raziel thing doesn't work out, maybe I need to become a clue chaser and just have that as my form of gambling.
Yeah, I mean, it all revolves around some kind of RNG, right? So why can't I go poke somebody and see how it turns out?
Yeah.
It's all gambling. Let's throw some flowers on the ground, Shane.
No, we're not playing the damn flower game.
Hill clapping.
No. No. Which one of these is your guys' favorite out of all the colors here between all the dyes?
I don't like the fact that they've taken the picture in the areas like the green set is on a green background, the red set's on a red background. But I would probably I agree with you. Either the black and white. I do like the blue as well, which I think, as you said,
Aurora blue or ice blue.
The one that is right down the bottom, next to the black and white one, and then you've got the blue one there. I like that one.
The one facing forward, then that's ice.
Yes.
The second image is Aurora, the one in the Christmas scene. The Christmas scene one's Aurora. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Tannis? I don't know what these all look like to you with color
Probably
blindness.
Shadow, though, just because I would want I want as close to a straight up black robes as I can get.
Right. And the interesting thing about the Shadow ones is that this would look really good with either of the archaeology capes.
How about an inverted archaeology cape?
Yeah. Boy, it's like we keep dropping hints that these inverted capes are something that we'd want, and I don't know. I don't know what the idea behind that is about, whether or not they could do something like that again. But
They did mention that they were going to look at bringing other ways to bring those inverted capes in to the game in the future. So, they might pop up on the Oddman store in a couple of months, in a couple of years.
Hey, I think I got 10 of them first time around. Give me another chance. I can
get the rest of them.
Another 10.
No, but the 121s are the ones that actually I think look really good in my view.
Well, I mean, of course.
Yeah. So, dyes are there this week, and this week also in terms of gameplay updates, Mod Stew's quest requirement cleanup is now live that we talked about last week in the dev blog on that. So that's now live. And I was actually doing something I don't normally do, and I was browsing the Reddit this week. I wanted to see what people were saying around double XP, and I found a brand new flowchart of all the quest requirements that came out.
Okay, so you weren't just looking to hit yourself in the balls.
No, I have other things that I would do if I want that to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So the flowchart is linked in the show notes at update.show. I want everybody, either on the video version or to go look at this flowchart and to just look at how nice and orderly the Elder God Wars section of it is, and how nice and orderly the Necromancy section is, and the Fort 4 and 3 section. How all of this is just nice and orderly, and there's a few things. There's a few things out and about that are...
There was thought. There was a big picture. It didn't go all Star Wars sequel trilogy. You mean that kind of thing, Shane?
Yeah. And then we get to the Sliske's arc in the Sixth Age, and it's just this huge web.
I mean, can we try? Well, I guess we could try to stretch the truth. We could stretch it here and say that it's Sliske, and he had a web throughout Gillinor and touched everything. Somehow.
From the looks of it, the biggest offender is Nomad's Elegy that creates the mess there, and the Light Within.
Wow.
And then, you got other things that are, like a huge mess, like some of the other, mid-level quests, like some of the desert ones, like the cat ones, Smoke and Kills, the mummies, and whatnot.
But I think when you look at when you look at the orderly quest, you can tell that there was a plan for those quests, where the earlier ones were kind of ad hoc.
Yeah.
We got time to do this, or let's do this. Like, if you're lucky, you might get a quest line finished up or something, but I don't know. It was a different world.
Right, and and even another big offender is While Gothic Sleeps, but I mean, rightly so. But at the same time, if you, zoom out all the way and you look at what led us at the end of the day to Sliske's endgame, it becomes clear what that arc was. And I think this is a really good way of visualizing it, and I understand this now better, is that that whole period from 2013 to 2016 that we were working up to Sliske's endgame was in effect looking at all of the different god factions out there and how they were experiencing the return of the gods. Like, obviously, we started with Missing Presumed Death, and then we had a bit of Zamorak and Dishonor Among Thieves, Dragonkin and One of a Kind, the Majorat and Zaros and Children of Ma, Heroes Welcome, Mighty Fall was actually, the last one in the Bandosian arc, believe it or not, with that. But it shows that, I think that the biggest thing to take away from that is that it's not this huge hodgepodge of a mess as it was actually made out to be. It was just, showing what it looks like if you have different perspectives, or rather you're trying to tell story from different perspectives in that, 2013 to 2016 period. And it wasn't immediately clear where we were going until we got to Endgame there. So,
Mhm.
and honestly, for the sake of the player base and everybody else, I feel like what we have with the Elder God Wars, that's a good level of complexity when it comes to requirements and just, weaving things in from various places. In that it's just all nicely compartmentalized, and now you see why they do those clean breaks, which I think is good.
Hmm.
If you took the size and scope and effort, everything about the Elder God Wars storyline, including the bosses, everything, and you made the story about anything else, made that the story for 4 and 3, it it would work. I think the only thing that people got a little were feeling fatigued about was the amount of time it took
Yeah.
to tell the story, and everything since the world wakes feeling like this season of Discovery. This is the all-time world ending. This time the world's gonna end for real.
Right.
But
Yeah.
other than that, the way it was done, the scope of it,
The scope was
I
wonderful.
I think was super well done.
It was just a matter of timing on that.
Hmm.
And like I said, that first batch from 2013 to 2016, it now makes sense what was happening there. And then the latter, bit of it that was, very clear as well, very linear. And you see other things here as well that are very linear, like the Elf Quest line is 100% linear, as is Elemental Workshop, as is Fort 4 and 3, as is the Myrek storyline. And then at the bottom, you have this whole collection of, just one shot, other, little quests there, like Tourist Trap, Watchtower, Perils of Ice Mountain, as a first resort. And they even got, Violet is Blue and whatnot on here, so that's neat. So, I don't know.
I want to
I
see a
just found
list
it very
of.
satisfying looking at it this way.
Well, your ordered brain probably, like, that was probably very um soothing to it to
It was.
get all
It
pulled.
was. Also, if you want to see the second most complicated one, I think that's the Fremennik quest lines.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see what people think is the most infamous quest or quest lines. Like because I have some candidates for that. Like forget impactful. What's the most infamous?
Yeah, and almost because of this, I kind of almost want to do. Well, I'm not supposed to say this. I'm not supposed to say this out loud. I'm not supposed to say out loud, which is my preferred
You're gonna
one.
take the pool. You're gonna influence the electorate, Shane.
I just want people to vote for the one that they want, and we're gonna do that one, whether or not whether or not that's the one that I want. Well, I should say it wouldn't be on the poll if it wasn't something I was happy with doing, if that makes sense. So, all right. Game Jam this week. The Makeover Mage interview. The Makeover Mage interface can now be accessed through a button at the top of the Appearance tab of the Customization interface. Selecting this will open the Makeover Mage interface without having to go talk to the mage themselves, allowing players to change their body type and skin color. Players will also still be required to speak with the Makeover Mage directly for the Land of the Goblins and the Evil Dave's Big Day Out quests.
And thank you for spelling color correctly.
Yeah, of course. English Canadian is like halfway down the middle where we kind of meet on that. So I know lots of people that asked for this, and it's just nice to see these kind of game jam updates being brought in ad hoc whenever there's space for them. So well done to whoever was part of this one.
First thing I thought was, oh, that's nice. And the second thing I thought was, what does the Makeover Mage change again?
Body type and skin color.
I know, but it's been I may have done that one time, maybe on a goof or something, right?
Yeah, and we
Like,
just cover it up otherwise with our
Yeah.
dyed cosmetic overrides.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to some achievements then. Starting off, we have Lord Phantom with 120 smithing on February 21st. Mosin Noth, I got 99 crafting on the 21st. Robbie with 200 mil divination. Skomos Deputy with 99 divination and 99 mining. Giovanni got 120 herblore on the 20th. Now continuing the 20th, we have Jam Andy 52 with 200 mil runecraft. Lord Zorik with 99 mining. Mej Quest with 99 strength and 99 agility. Rune Dragon got 120 Slayer. Woody got 120 Fletching. Xanthan Gum got 120 Archaeology. On to the 19th, we have Adani with 120 Agility. Darth Wolfus with 99 Necromancy and 120 Firemaking. Hephaesto 5 got 99 Invention and 99 Defense. Mej Quest got 99 Hunter. Noonie01 got 99 Fletching. Samurai Jack got 120 Smithing. Sanger Sani got 120 Herblore, and Warrock got 120 Necromancy.
Then moving on to February the 18th, we have Codeforge with 120 Necromancy, Crazy Legs with 99 Necromancy and 120 Slayer, Cyanar, who got 120 Herblore, Darkest Night with 120 Slayer, Darth Wolfus with 120 Hunter, Hephaesto 5 got 99 attack and 99 strength. Lord Zorik, 99 invention. Mej Quest with 99 herblore. Noonie 01 with 99 archaeology and also 99 ranged. Rob, 200 million attack. Waffens picked up 99 summoning and 99 strength. Yahoo got 99 herblore. They were all on the 18th. And then moving on to the 17th, we have Darkest Night, 99 Necromancy, and Deltar with 99 Necromancy also.
All right. And then on the 17th, we also have Lord Dusty with 120 cooking, Mage Quest with 99 farming, Mosin Noth with 99 thieving, Noonie 01 with 120 smithing, Queen RuPaul with 120 herblore. We have Taxor Lav with 99 farming and invention. And our very own Shane 12088 with 120 necromancy.
Yahoo!
Oh, clap.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yahoo
With 99 divination. And then on the 16th we have Hephaesto 5 with 99 ranged and slayer. Saxor Lav with 99 hunter, runecrafting, thieving, woodcutting, divination, and fishing. And Yahoo with 99 agility. Nice run there.
Well done,
Congratulations all.
everybody. And, you know, it's always good to talk about these double XP achievements as they come in. And, you know, I'll say even for myself, it felt good getting one of these again. And that's, you know, particularly why I also jumped on the skill pier. So I can't imagine what it must feel like, or I guess I can imagine now what it feels like for everybody else to be back in this position, because it's just been so long since I've had any of these, you know, major milestones to get that it feels good actually doing that again. So well done to everybody in it, and it really does, like we talked about in the first segment of the show, it's a good reminder of what RuneScape is, and of course why we all play this game. So we'll be back next week for round 2 on that. But right now, time for pick of the week. What do you got for us, Pernatius?
Okay, this one is a little TV series that I binge watched this week while I was doing my AFK skilling on Paramount Plus, if anyone has that, called Rabbit Hole. Now, it stars Kiefer Sutherland, who I really enjoy, 24 fame. In this one, he plays it's basically a private espionage firm where they'll go to a company and say, hey, your competition's doing this, pay us and we can make sure that, it falls apart, or they'll get some, get compromising pictures on someone to sort of bribe them and have them drop out of races, or not push an investigation as hard as they should. It only ran for one season.
Oh, so it's about graft.
Pretty much, yeah. It's really good. It's really well done. There is, working out a lot of numbers and things like that. He's sort of a bit of a math savant in it. It's all working out on sort of people's likes, dislikes. It's different to a lot of other things out there, and I thought it was sort of really pertinent for sort of the age we're living in, with bribing senators and heads of company and things like that.
Campaign donation.
Yeah. Well, that is a big thing.
There's a very good
donations in it.
There's a very favorite saying of mine that if something's buyable, it's buyable in America, and everybody has their price.
Oh yeah, and this certainly proves it. Basically, he gets paid by an old friend to set up a guy who's looking into a company, and then they set him up, they frame him for murder on it, and he's sort of got to go through and try and prove his innocence. He's got an FBI agent after him. He's just got to basically work through this whole thing of espionage and trying to clear his name, and this sort of shadowy cabal that's in the background, sort of run by one guy that they need to expose and bring out and stop from basically taking over America. It's about buying data, getting control of everyone's data, where he can then sort of basically control everyone who they vote for, know who they vote for, push them towards what he wants and things like that. So really, really well done.
That honestly sounds like my kind of series.
Oh, I do, yeah, definitely. As I said, I threw it on. I thought, oh yeah, Kiefer Sutherland, I'll chuck this on and just have a bit of a watch. And I binge watched it over 2 days, 4 episodes, 4 episodes the next. Again, it's 8 episodes. But it sort of keeps you on the edge of your seat,
right,
sort of pretty much all the way
through. Because that's what 24 was
always
always good at.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the unfortunate thing is that, and see, that's the
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate thing. He's never found something like that after that. That's been able to have been done well and actually continue, because one season here, then cancelled.
Yeah, well, and again, like Designated Survivor, where they had 2 or 3 good seasons, then Netflix bought it and destroyed it.
Well,
but this
was good and a product of its time, right? Too.
Well, that's it, and that's what I think people will find this one. What surprised me is it got good reviews on on everything. It had good numbers watching it. It surprised me that they did wrap it up after 1 season, but it does end. It hasn't ended on a cliffhanger. It's a show that hey, it's wrapped up. Yes, we could get a second season, but I'm happy because it's got a finish to it.
Oh, good. So like all the seasons of Discovery except for the first one, then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Yeah, and see, that's the thing, is that I find it very difficult to just, invest the time in a TV series without knowing if it's going to, get more than 1 season at it. But if this is, good with just, that it's 8 and we know there's a contrite ending to it, then maybe it's something to actually look into. I'm going to have to add
the
this
good thing
one to
is,
the list.
it's like a long movie. I mean, it's 8 episodes.
Okay.
So, just I consider it more not as a TV series, as an extra long movie.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll have to look and see where that's at here, whether that's on our Paramount Plus or what have you. But it sounds good. Thank you for that. Anybody else have anything here before we go? No? Going twice? Alrighty. Just a note, A couple notes. If you want to be on the podcast or you think you have a perspective to offer, update.show/help. We have a form there where you can sign up. Tell us why you think you'd make a good candidate, but most importantly, also give us a way to contact you, Discord, email, in-game name, something to that effect. And I'll also announce here over voice the winners of the survey raffle, because I've started handing out the bonds for that. So the winners of the survey raffle were Elm 2002, Rhino, Let Us Know, Keski, and Luminos. I've already handed it out to a couple of you guys, so thank you to everybody who took our survey. We're in the process of digesting that right now, and you might hear something on that, or you'll at the very least see the products of that, within a few weeks' time. So big, huge thank you again to everybody who took our annual survey. But in the meantime, if you want update delivered automatically to you each and every week, the best way to do that is to subscribe. We're on all your favorite podcast listeners out there. We're on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and of course Pocket Cast as well. And we do have the show as well on YouTube at youtube.com/RSBANDB. So if you're a YouTube user, check it out there. Do like and subscribe. Greatly helps the channel out. But with that being said, we'll be back next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update.
And if I can just say one thing, I'll be heading to Perth this week, so go Rhea Bloody Ripley. Happy escaping all.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.